Whenever I was discussing that how to solve this question in Python language, I already have briefed that we need to create a bank account. Within that bank account means a class. Okay, that bank account class has objects. How many objects are there? All that objects, all account holders will be the part of your objects. Okay, once object is there, that object has instance variables and class has class variables. So that all instance variables means account with along with the account name, account number, his details, everything will be part of object. So every object has unique attributes. His name, every account holder has different name, account is different, its details is different. So one class may have many objects. So it is bank account object. So in that bank, so many objects may be, so many accounts may be there. So we need to display every account with their class and instance variable. So let us, I have created the written the code like this. First of all, class, one class to be created. Bank account is class name, and inside of bank class, bank name is equal to Canara. It is class variable. Class variables always to be declared inside of the class, outside of the method. Okay, so in eighth number, one initialization method I have written here. So here this method, one parameter we need to pass inside of these brackets, that is self parameter. That is very important. This is the first parameter. Then after whatever the parameters you want to write, you need to write after the self. Okay, self parameter not compulsory to write as self. You can keep your name, my name, xyz. What, that is the first parameter. Okay, you can write this first parameter as self, x. Okay, in place of self, no problem. Then after, for every account, some parameters must be there for every account. Okay, what is that? Name of the account holder, one parameter. Next is what? Account, AC, account number. Okay, AC means account. Okay, so let us finish with the two parameters. Then after we will increase the parameter. First we will write the code like this. So I told you that first parameter must be self, otherwise you can place for the self anything, xyz, your name, biscuit, chocolate, no problem, but generally we will write self. Okay, now this is called what? Your initialization method. Double underscore init means initialization. Why double underscore? Starting double underscore, at the ending of double underscore, in between init means initialization means what is the meaning of this method? It initializes the object properties. Initialize means start. It will start. So once a class is there, I told you that in the previous class is the blueprint, means it is a design template to create the objects. So for in every object has some properties. The properties are what? For every object, like this name, account. Okay, these are the properties. So they are called instance variables. What you can mention here? Instance variables. Okay, where simply variables. So now try to understand here. Now if that moment one more command we need to write, self dot, okay, name is equal to name. So why I have written self dot name is equal to name, I will explain here. Name, next one more statement, self dot account equal to AC. So here try to understand why self dot name. Self, it is the parameter, first parameter used here to access other parameters. Parameters means in bracket self, name, AC, these are parameters. Sometimes they are called variables, attributes, characteristics, all are same words. Don't confuse yourself. Okay, object, they are used with object, that's why they are called instance variable. Name, AC, they are the part of your object properties. So variables, parameter, characteristic. Okay, no any, all are equal. Huh? So self is a parameter that will be used to access other parameters, name, AC. Okay, now come here. Next, what we need to do that here one more method or simply call your function. Okay, string function. I will use here string double underscore bracket. Okay, self is what the parameter we need, that is compulsory. Why? Because every method can be accessed as a class method, otherwise object method. If you want to access this method in 8th line initialization method, self parameter must be used. If you want to access this as an object method, so if you don't want to call this method as a object method, if you want to call it as a class method, simply remove this self, no any problem. So I want to create the objects. Every object has some variables, so that's why self is compulsory. So in 12th line, this is called your string function, a string method. Okay, string str function, otherwise called function. Don't call it as function, method. Why? Because so what is the difference between method and function? Many times I told you that whenever you create any function inside of a class, so that becomes method, because that method is part of class. Whenever I want to access that method by the class name, otherwise object name, I will access that method. That's why we can't say that it is function. So function is differently, independently, separately defined without class. So now this string method used to what? Whenever I want to call the object directly, I want to call the object, I want to represent the object as a string representation. That moment string function, string method will be used. Here I need to use one return keyword, that is very important here. Then after, f means formatted string, customized string. So within this I will write like what? Name, what? Name is equal to some, is equal to right, otherwise separators, to keep somewhat separation between your string and value, string and value. So then after, keep the flower braces here, because under the flower brace you call that parameter. What parameter you want to call here? What parameter? Simply if you call them as name. So next, name parameter, and again AC. AC is what? AC is the account. So and flower braces, inside of the flower braces you call the parameter AC, which is kept inside of the double underscore initialization method as a instance variables. Just we are calling the instance variables. Now AC is equal to this much. Okay, now come to the point. Now your string function, string method declared. Now you need to create the object. So object is what? Object is what? Account holder for a class bank account in Canara Bank. So many account holders are there. Every account holder is a object. You come simply write one, holder one, otherwise account one. Account one means one account who has the ID 1. First account created in that bank, his ID number is 1. You understood like this. So this is the object created for whom? Class bank account class. Okay, bank account class. Inside of this now you have created the object. You mention here, comment here, object created. OBJ simply, shortly I am writing here, object created. Now what happened here, I try to understand that. So object created. Okay, now come to the point. Okay, now object created. That is what AC1 is the object. Account first account one is the ID numbers. You simply understand that this account is the part of your bank account class. So bank account class has many objects. Suppose in Canara Bank 500 accounts are there. They are called 500 objects for bank account class. So now object created, that moment if you want to print means what? As per your question, demonstrate how you can manage instance and class variables for each account. So how you are demonstrate, show, you need to show print out for every object. Okay, so print, take the print of what you call that object is what? AC1. Now you run this code. So syntax error expected whenever you are declaring string method. So that is what here see under it is mentioning that somewhat we need to give some separation here. Okay, separation, what separation? One line separation, huh? Now you not one line, one character separation here. Okay, no any separation I have. Okay, so here for the string function, string method, no any separation required for string double underscore, starting double underscore, ending double underscore. So but error is given in where bank account 15th line 15th, bank account initialization function missing two required positional arguments for name and AC. So under initialization function method in 8th line you have passed two parameters, name and AC. So they are the parameters. So for that parameters you need to pass the values where as positional arguments. See, in position missing two required positional arguments, name and AC. For these two parameters, name and AC, positional arguments missing. So whenever parameters written inside of any method, 8th line name AC, they are the parameters, instance variable, we need to pass the values in 15th line whenever this object is created. So here we need to pass the values as positional arguments. For name, what? Name always as a string. Here Vasu is a name and his account number is what? Next is AC. AC means account. AC account 1, first account. So this is okay. Now you run this code. Still name is not defined in 17th and 13th line. 17th and 13th line, come to the 13th line first. So name, this name and 17th. So say in 13th line name AC, these are called what? Part of your double underscore initialization method. They are called instance variable. Always instance variable to be called with self. That's why self parameter I have used here. I told you that this self, by the self parameter, another parameters as they can be called as instance variable. So here use self means what? This name is the instance variable of that object. Instance variable of that object. Which object? This AC1 object. Okay. Now run this code. So now name is equal to Vasu, AC is equal to account is equal to account number. AC means account number. If you have confusion, you can write this as account number. Okay. AC number means account number. So as per this self dot AC, you need to change all of them. Okay. Because you have changed there everything, you need to account number. Here also where self dot name AC is equal to, okay, self dot AC is what? It is just text that will be displayed. So no need to change this AC number here. So now here you can see name is equal to Vasu, AC is equal to account number is equal to, you write this as account number. Okay. Okay. AC number is equal to 1. So now one more object you create yourself. One more object is equal to what? Suppose AC2. So second account holder his account number is equal to 2, and this AC2 is an object for what? Bank account A account class. Inside of this we need to pass the positional argument for name. Positional argument for what? Name is what? Instance variable written instance variable written inside of double underscore method as a parameter. So for that parameter we need to pass the positional argument for name, any name, Krishna. Okay. So his account, next comma, account number is 2. Why they are called positional arguments? Try to understand. Positional for name is what? At what position? After self, first position. For that first position, Krishna will be, the value will be passed to this name variable as a positional argument. Whenever we are calling any method, that moment values, if we are passing, they are called arguments for the parameter. Okay, now if you, that moment I need to call print bracket AC2. So that why I am directly calling the object. So we can call the object directly. That moment it is only possible whenever in 12th line you have declared and defined a string method. String method always will be used to, if you want to represent any object as a string. Here objects are what? AC1, AC2, two objects. If they want to, that object are being represented as a string. See, the string name is a string, but name is equal to Vasu, AC num1 is equal to 1, AC num2, second object Krishna. So like that, how many objects, how many accounts are in that bank account Canara? How many accounts are there? All account objects can be displayed, demonstrated. That is as per this question. Demonstrate how you can manage instance and class. But I have managed these Vasu 1, Krishna 2. These are the positional arguments for name and AC number. These two are what? Your instance variable. So I have managed the instance variable. But what about the class variable? Class variable bank name, it is not managed with your accounts. So if you want to manage with your account class variable, you can use as this bank name. Okay, it is a class variable. Okay, is equal to next double flower brace. Inside of the flower brace you call that bank name as what? Class variable. Always the class variables will be called along with your class name. So bank name class name is what? Bank account dot operator will be used. Bank account is the class name and variable name is equal classic bank name. Bank account is the class name dot bank name is the variable bank name. Understood that? Now here is equal to what? Canara. Okay, no need to write the Canara, it automatically it will take. Okay, now you call this. See, with every account bank name is equal to Canara, bank name is equal. So if 50 accounts are there, 50 accounts are displayed with common, because all the bank accounts have a common bank name. So 50 accounts are there, 50 accounts have the bank name Canara. Okay, but why? Because that Canara is what? A class variable. Class variable always will be shared along with all objects commonly. Every class variable will be shared along with all objects commonly. Okay, commonly shared here. But instance variables, they will be shared along with all objects uniquely. Every object has their unique properties. His name different, his account number different, his details. He may be belong to any another village. One account holder may be belong to another village. Different details. Okay, but that bank name, that is Canara, that is common property. That will be shared along with all your account holders. Okay, now come to the point. So if one more object you create like that is so like that, how many objects? It depend upon your bank, how many bank accounts are there. Same, you copy this, copy and paste here. Now this is called next account 3. Account 3 object created, account number is equal to 3, bank account. Here account holder name may be different, Teja. Okay, and his account number is equal to what? 3. So at that moment, so if you take the printout, you will not get the print, okay, details of the account number 3. So you need to print, you need to request for print. Okay, print for what? Account 3. Okay, if you print for, if you requested for account 3 details will be displayed. Account 3 Teja, name, account number 3, bank name Canara is common property. But if you call in place of 1, so first account number 1 will be displayed again. First account name is equal to Vasu, account number 1, same details will be displayed because you are requesting for account number 1. Understood that? So you call this as 3. So now this is okay. Now you have written some code for 50%, you have written. Then after you need to check whenever we write the code for any question. If you want to really solve a question in place of any question, if you want to answer that question, you need to write the code as per your question. You check, write a class bank account. Okay, class bank account created with methods to deposit, withdraw and check the bank. So these methods we have not created, so it is pending. Demonstrate means show how you can manage instance and class variable for each account. So this is completed. Why? Instance variables name and AC number in 8th line and class variable declared in 6th line bank name, all are managed with each account. For how many accounts created? 3 accounts created. For every account, these instance variable, object variables and class variable, they are being displayed. So we have done little bit of code. Now what? We need to create deposit, withdraw and check the balance methods. So that method you write again, def keyword will be used to create the method. Deposit, method name, always the method will be having brackets, open bracket, close the compulsory, and this termination of colon is compulsory. Next, under this bracket, every method must be with self parameter, the first manner. Why? Because objects are created, so this method can't be, I told you that every method can be called as class method or object method. I can't call this as object method because class method, because objects are created in 18th line, 19th and 20th line, objects created. So self parameter must be there. If I remove this self parameter, that becomes method class method. But I don't want to call the method as class method because objects are created. There may be some conflict. Okay, that's why this method must be called as object method. Next is what? Under the method, what happens? It is a deposit method. So for this deposit method, I want to deposit the money. So what money amount? Some amount will be deposited. So amount is equal to what? Suppose 2000 rupees. Written here, okay? So next, this amount to be deposited. Whenever amount deposited, that to be displayed on the screen. So here, keep a string amount deposited. Amount deposited, okay, is equal to. Then after, it is a string, because string, whatever the string you want to display on the screen, that string to be kept in as a string in single quotation, double quotation marks. Then after, you call that variable what? Amount. Okay, amount is what? Amount deposited. So now this is one method. Okay, so if you call this method, if you want to call this method, how can you call this method? As an object method. Object is equal to AC1. Object is what? Different objects are created, AC1, AC2, AC3. So AC1 object dot. I told you the dot operator will be used. Then after, method name. What is the method name? Deposit. You call this method as deposit method. Bracket. Method always must be terminated with the brackets. Now you run this code. So amount deposited is equal to 2000. Okay. So whenever you call that method, that whenever you deposit the amount, that is being displayed. So next, one more method we need to create, that is what? After deposit, withdraw method. Next, check balance. So you write the code for this. Next, you copy this same method, you copy and paste. That is for what? Next method. What method? That is for your withdraw method. And one more method you need, that is called your check balance method. Okay, we will change, but you have copied and we will change the names. So here 14th line deposit method, okay, and 17th line it is withdraw method. You change this. No need to write the code again and again. That is the program flexibility. You can copy the code and change as per your requirement. So withdraw is a method. Whenever we call that method, withdraw amount will be displayed. So here create a variable withdraw. Okay, how much of amount? Suppose 2000 is the withdraw amount. So print amount withdrawn. Amount withdrawn. Okay, now what happened? See here. So withdrawn, so amount withdrawn, it will be displayed on the screen. So for what variable to be called? So that withdraw variable you need to pass here, that withdraw variable here. Withdraw variable here. So next is what? You have called object with method. Now you need to call that AC1 dot. If you want to see that method amount, how much of amount is withdrawn, you need to call that method withdraw. Method must be having brackets. No, amount withdrawn 2000. Your amount deposited is 2000, amount withdrawn 2000. So balance will be what? 2000 minus 2000 minus 0. So your balance will be shown. So for this method balance, you change this method as balance method. So balance self parameter compulsory for every method, as I told you that the method having self means that indicates that it is, we can call that method as object method. Here create one variable balance. Okay, now here balance means what? Balance. How can we check the balance? That balance balance. Okay, now here, so under this we will do one thing. Okay, your deposit amount is being displayed withdrawn. So here I will do one thing. Inside of class, one variable I will create. I will take the input from the user, okay, rather than providing the values. Here I will do one thing. This amount is a variable I have created. Now in input function I use here. Why? Because here I want to take the user input. Enter amount. Enter amount. Deposited amount. Enter amount. So now what happened here? Enter amount means amount to be deposited. Enter amount means amount whatever the amount you want to deposit. Enter that amount. So that amount input function is used in Python to take the input from the ask the user to feed the input. How much of the amount to be deposited. So generally, if you deposit amount in integers, okay, that will be considered as a string in Python. So to convert that string into integer, int function used here. Now that data will be stored. That integer data converted by integer function stored in amount. Understood that? So if you run this code, what happens? It is requesting for enter amount. So 5,000 you have entered. This is deposited amount. But this 5,000 deposited amount not mentioned in amount deposit. And amount deposited 2,000 because here 2,000 manually in 16th line under the method deposit 6,000 2,000 mentioned manually. But you are whenever you are entering the amount, okay, that amount to be mentioned displayed in the place of 2,000. Understood that? So that moment so we will okay, now this amount in 7th line, so whatever the amount is given by the deposited amount by the customer, that will be deposited in amount. So that this can be called as a in amount. um, Remove this, okay, because this is you are entering manually. You are entering this as a manually. So okay, now here, now this you call this amount as self dot, okay, and withdraw withdraw 2,000, okay, leave it as 2,000. And balance is what, under the balance we do one thing. Balance, we write a simple mathematical calculation here, okay. Balance, how the balance will be taken? Self dot amount minus self dot withdraw, and you request for print deposited, print amount deposited, amount withdraw, amount balance. Balance, balance, okay. Now here we need to call what? Not amount, balance variable, okay. Now you run this code. Let us see what happened here. Enter amount 5,000. This is to be updated. Amount deposited 5,000. Amount withdrawn 2,000. But 5,000 minus 2,000, 3,000 not displayed here. So that moment we need to check the method def balance. Balance is equal self dot amount. Self dot amount means 5,000 will be taken minus self dot withdraw. Withdraw is equal 2,000. Okay. Withdraw 2,000 and print balance. So this 20 method that is not being displayed. We need to check properly indentation error. Okay, I have adjusted, that's why indentation error in, that's why indented block after line 9. Line 9. See, here in 8th line, all these methods, they must be under similar indentation. So amount 5000 I have entered here. 5000 updated in amount deposited for 3 accounts. Okay, amount withdrawn 2000. Amount withdrawn 2000. So as it is displayed. So that moment what happened, under this balance I will pass some parameters here. One is that one amount parameter, and comma, that is what withdraw parameter. Two parameters I will pass here. Now so amount self dot amount means this, wherever in 4th line the variable created, the amount created in variable in 4th line, that can be called as a self class instance variable. In 16th line, self dot amount minus self dot withdraw. Okay, now let us see what happened. 5000. So 5000 displayed in the amount deposited, withdrawn 2000, but balance is not shown, not being shown. So for this balance you remove this self dot. Why? Because I can't call this as a self, means instance method, instance variable. Why? Because try to understand, balance is equal self dot amount. Why? Because amount created in 4th line under the class, so that class variable can be used as a instance variable, self dot amount. Understood that? Why? Because amount to withdraw, two variables I have, parameters I have declared in balance. So now this amount is equals amount, that amount I am calling this as self dot amount. So this class variable will be called here. Next, minus withdraw. So withdraw is a separate variable created inside of this method balance. Okay, inside of this method balance. So print balance, okay. Okay, now you request for print, ac1 dot balance. What balance? Balance method. Okay, balance method, we are calling the balance method. Now run this code. Feed 5000 will be bank account dot balance missing two required positional arguments, amount and withdraw. Okay, in which line? 26th line. 26th line is F. Okay, now in what happened, in withdraw amount I have passed withdraw as 2000 rupees. Okay, for the balance so it is asking for two required positional arguments. Positional arguments I need to pass in which line? 26th line. The positional arguments for the balance, because under the balance I have passed two amount to withdraw. Understand? For that I need to pass positional arguments. So here, if I keep some word balance amount withdraw 2000. Okay, now what happens? See, 5000 is the, so here see what happened here. Amount deposited is 5000. Okay, amount withdrawn is equal to 2000. Balance is equal to 3000. So if I change one more time, if I ask for 10,000, 10,000 to be updated in the deposited amount, 10,000. So 10,000 deposited in amount deposited 10,000, amount withdrawn 2,000, balance 8,000. 10 minus 2,000, 8,000. So as per this code, as per this question, we have tried to solve a question in Python. Python is a programming language. Within this, we need to write the code. We need to solve the question. Here, we have created a class bank account. So class bank account created. For the bank account, so many accounts are there. All that accounts are called objects. Every object has a name, account number, and it is details. So all that objects for any class, bank account class, so many objects, account holders are all objects. Every object has unique properties, but common property is what? Bank name. So every time the details will be displayed, Canara, the bank will be common for all objects. But what about the instance variables? In fifth line, instance variable created, they will be shared with all objects. Name, AC number, they are instance variables. So for the every name, AC number, whenever that object is created, in which line, in 18th line object created, and within the class name we need to pass the values as a positional argument. So whenever object is called, so these values displayed along with the object. Okay, along with that object, common property Canara also displayed. So to display that, I have created in 8th line string function, string method. String method will be used to represent whenever you want to represent object as a string. So within this string method, return keyword must be there. Formatting string I have used. Within this, I have called all that instance variable with self. I told you that self will be used to call instance variable. Self dot name plus self dot AC number. This name, AC number, they are the string will be displayed on the screen. Self dot name, self dot AC number, they are the instance variables. Bank name is the string will be displayed, but inside of that I have called bank name class variable with the class name. Class name is bank account dot. So every object, this bank class name will be Canara will be displayed. So three methods I have created for deposit. That is self. Self means we can access this as an object method. Every time we can access that method as an object method with the object dot. So inside of this method, print amount deposit a string, and here self dot amount. Self dot amount, why self dot amount? Amount is instance variable created inside of double underscore method, not inside of double underscore method. It is created in fourth line. Amount is a variable created, and that is user input. So you are requesting from user input, that will be stored in amount variable. So you can call that variable as with the self parameter. So self dot amount, whatever the amount you enter, that will be updated in this method, deposit method. Whenever we call that method in 24th line, I am calling the deposit method as an object method. AC1 is the object. So that moment what happened, all these deposit, withdraw, balance are related with first account. Okay, if I want to update second account, I need to call is second account with all these methods. So in first deposit method, amount deposit string, and self dot amount, that amount variable um, stored the input amount given deposited by client, that will be deposited in amount variable, that can be called in 11th line with the self parameter. So that your amount, deposit amount will be updated in the deposit method. Next in 12th line, one more method created, that is withdraw method. Withdraw method will indicate that how much of time, how much of amount you are going to withdraw. So withdraw, I have created created a variable here, withdraw is equal to 0 to 2000. This withdraw I have not mentioned part of your here after self parameter. If I write withdraw, so I need to pass the with that moment this code this is can be commented. So that withdraw amount I need to pass where whenever I am calling the withdraw method, here I need to pass as a positional argument 2000. Understood that in 13th line if you pass the withdraw amount here, no need to pass in 25th line 2000 rupees as in a positional argument. Same. Okay, 9000. So 9000 will be updated, 2000 withdraw, 9000 minus 2000, 7000. So 2000 withdraw amount where I have passed whenever I am calling the method in 25th line as an positional argument I have passed 2000. If I want to whenever withdraw kept as a variable, okay, parameter as a parameter in withdraw method. This withdraw is a local variable that can be used inside of the method only. See, you need to understand all these in 10th line. I have called amount variable self dot. Why? Because that is not local variable. I have called that variable self dot, that is class variable in 4th line. So I have called with self parameter means as a what self parameter means self parameter will be used to call class variables with self parameter. 12th line self after withdraw, it is local variable. Local variable will be used inside of the method only. Whenever the method is cleared, the local variable will be closed with that method. They can't be used out of the method. Okay, out of the method only. Out of the method, the class variables, instance variables can be used out of the class. Okay, inside of the withdraw method, one local variable withdraw created, and whenever you are calling that withdraw method, because print amount withdraw is a string. Now forward withdraw. So amount to be passed whenever you call that method. In 12th line, where we have called withdraw method, in 25th line AC1 dot withdraw. So here amount withdrawn amount I need to pass as a positional argument. If you don't want to keep this 2000 here, you open this comment, remove this comment in 13th line. Okay, you remove this. Okay, 13th line. Okay, now you remove this amount as a positional argument. Otherwise, conflict will be there. See, you will get the conflict. When the conflict is there, 5000 minus 2000, 3000, no problem. Okay. So now, okay. Next, what about the balance? 15th line def balance method created. That is self parameter started means what you know. If this method can be called as object method. Then after two parameters I have passed amount withdraw. Amount withdraw two parameters means they are the local variables inside of the balance. So now balance is equal self dot amount. Self dot amount, why I am calling this self dot amount means amount is class variable. Okay, in 15th line, two parameters amount withdraw passed as local variables. Okay, but by this with the help of this local variables, because see in double _ method I have written as self dot name is equal to name, self dot AC number is equal to okay. So that is separate part. In 15th line, amount withdraw local variables I have created. Balance is equal to self dot amount. Okay, self dot amount. Here amount is in 4th line, amount is a class variable. So I can call that amount entered, and that amount can be called as self dot amount minus withdraw. Withdraw is what? A local variable. So under the withdraw, whenever I am calling that method withdraw, 2000 rupees I have mentioned here. So this 2000 rupees can be given to where? Withdraw. Okay, under the balance check also I have mentioned for amount is equal 2000 rupees, without withdraw is equal 2000 rupees. Okay, so this 2000 rupees will be considered as your withdraw amount. So what happens? Self dot amount, whatever the amount you have deposited, that will be taken, minus withdraw is 2000. So if you pass self dot amount as 10,000, so that will be taken as 10,000 whenever checking balance, minus withdraw. So for the withdraw balance checking you have mentioned 2000 rupees. So 10,000 minus 2000 will be given as, suppose if you pass this as 10,000. Okay, now 10,000 amount deposit updated 10,000, withdraw 2000 minus 8,000. Like this code we can write this code, but we can improve this code for in the second class I will explain how to improve this code. In that case we will do one thing, but options will be given. Option is what? 3 options will be there. One option is for option number 1, do you want to deposit? Option number 2, do you want to withdraw? Option number 3, you want to check balance. So whenever client press option number 1, so one message will be prompted there, please enter deposit amount. So whatever the amount he will deposit, that will be stored in amount variable, 4th line. Understood that? Otherwise option number 2, whenever he presses option number 2, do you want to withdraw? So please enter the withdraw amount. That amount will be deposited in one more variable we need to create here. That is what I will explain in the next class. Okay, this is the question we have solved in this manner, and that can be improved for further. Okay, this can be improved further. I will explain how to do that. Okay, so under withdraw method, whenever you have written withdraw as a parameter, no need to write withdraw is equal to 2000. If you want to withdraw 2000, you remove this withdraw here. Okay, so if you remove the withdraw here, so whenever you remove the withdraw here, just you have withdraw, you have mentioned inside of the method. So whenever you are calling the withdraw method, no need to keep this positional argument. You remove this positional argument. So now question is what? This is code is corrected. 12th line withdraw only self parameter, and your 13th line withdraw variable created and value assigned. So that moment whenever you are calling withdraw method 25th line, no need to pass positional argument. That is okay. And what about that 15th line def balance method? Self amount withdraw. Balance is equal self dot amount. So self dot amount, see here. So now run this code. 6,000 rupees passed here. 6,000 minus 2,000, 4,000. Okay, it is updated. So in 15th line balance self dot amount, directly I can call this. So why do I need to create this here? You remove this. Okay, no need of this. Why? Because I can call the amount as direct class self dot. Okay, self with self parameter I can call the class variable. So withdraw is compulsory here. Withdraw, so that moment withdraw I need to pass the 2,000 rupees withdraw. Okay, so now this is okay, code is okay. Now you write 9,000 rupees 9,000 rupees deposited and withdraw 2,000 9,000 minus 2,700. Now little bit code I have corrected. Why? Because extra code no need. Program always says that no, don't write extra code. Okay, whatever the code requested, that is to be added only. In 15th line, balance self withdraw, only one parameter. Balance is a variable created. Self dot amount. Amount in 4th line, whatever the amount deposited, that stored in amount variable, that can be called in balance under the balance method. In 16th line, balance self dot amount. Okay, that variable 4th line amount variable called with the self parameter minus withdraw is a parameter I have created. So for that I need to pass the argument withdraw argument in 26th line. Okay, because withdraw, that is withdraw 2,000 rupees, so withdraw parameter added here, and 2,000 in 26th line AC1 balance 2,000 rupees added as a positional argument. Now every code is perfect as the code we need. Okay, I have not written any extra code. If any extra code is there, I have removed. It is perfectly very suited. If you have deposited 1,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, so that moment what happened? 1 lakh minus 2,000, 98,000. So as I told you that this code can be improved by giving of options. One option is what? Depositing of money. Second option is what? Withdraw of money. Third option is what? Balance check. So whenever user chooses the option 1, so a request will be displayed there. Enter the deposit amount, because he has chosen the option 1. So whenever he deposits the money, that will be stored in 4th line amount variable. Okay, understood that. And if he chooses the second option is for what? Second option is for your withdraw. So whenever he presses 2, so displays a message, enter your withdraw amount. So whatever the amount he will enter, that will be stored. We need to create after 4th line one more variable, that is called withdrawn. So within that, whatever the amount, withdraw amount entered by client, that will be stored in a variable. We need to create another variable in 4th line, suppose here. I will explain in later class, next class. Here that is what? One balance. That is what? Suppose not balance, withdraw. So that user requested withdraw amount will be stored in here. One withdraw variable you need to create here. Okay, there that will be shown. Okay, I will explain later. So next class I will explain. So we will finish this code here, and next line I will explain the how to improve that code. 70,000 he is 70,000 he is depositing. So amount deposited 7,000. Okay, and amount withdrawn 2,000, 68,000.